So I review a lot of different products, but one of my favorite categories to review is actually wallets, and specifically minimalist wallets. And there are two companies that are actually quite similar to each other that I wanted to talk about in today's video. Of course, the first one is going to be the Ridge wallet. Everybody knows what a Ridge wallet is. It's been around for quite some time now, and these wallets that are just kind of like two plates and an elastic strap that goes around it to hold your cash. So really the Ridge wallet has become synonymous with this design. However, one of the newcomers in the market is going to be the Axwell wallet. So Axwell wallet actually uses a very similar design, where it is the two plates with an elastic band holding it together. You put your cards in the top. Actually, the Axwell you can put in the bottom as well. And then of course it has an elastic band on the back to hold your cash. So these both at a glance look very, very similar. They are actually about very similar sizes, and really they handle things very, very similarly. But for me, there is actually a clear winner between these two wallets, and that's what we're gonna be talking about in today's video. But before we get into that, I do wanna let you know that this Axwell was actually sent out to me by the brand free of charge. However, the Ridge, which is actually one of my first minimalist wallets, was given to me by a family member, just so you guys are aware of that. Also, just a heads up, I do have commission links down in the description. They are paid links, so when you use them, I do get a commission from them. So I'm going to be going into different aspects of each of these wallets, but let's talk a little bit about what's similar. Both wallets can hold in between 1 to 12 cards and have either a money clip or a money strap, which both of these wallets have money straps on them for me. They are not able to hold any form of coins unless you get a coin plate, which I go back and forth on if they're any good. And they are both 3.39 inches wide, 2.13 inches tall, and somewhere between 0.2 and 0.3 inches in depth, with the Axwell actually being a bit wider because of its removable plates, which we'll talk about in a moment. Each of these wallets do also come in a variety of different materials, including aluminum, which is what this one is. This one is actually made out of copper, but they also have Damascus steel, they have carbon fiber, and a ton of other materials you can choose from. So when it comes to weight, they do vary pretty heavily, with this copper one being up to 152 grams, making it extremely heavy, but they do have aluminum ones, which are much more in line with the 87 grams that the Ridge is. So with that said, that is what is similar. So let's get into the things that I do and don't like about the wallets, and we're going to be learning more about what is differentiating these two from each other. So the first category comes down to usability, and the one that wins out for me actually is this Axwell wallet. And why that is because for the most part, the actual using of the wallet when it comes to putting cards in and out, it is the exact same process. You're just putting cards inside of these two plates and they sit on the inside. You push in and you're able to pull it out. Same thing here, you just put it in and then you're able to insert it into the card. And of course the money straps are very, very similar. But the thing that actually sets it apart and why the Axwell is more usable for me comes down to being able to swap out this cash strap. So Axwell, one of their kind of defining characteristics is the ability to be able to remove these plates. So you can actually remove the outer plates, you can replace them with other colors and that stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what that also makes is the ability to be able to swap out this band. As you can see, you literally just peel it off and you can swap out the band. What you have is an included money clip, which is a simple task to just basically take off this plate. You take that off and then you put the money, oops, wrong way around. Then you put the money clip on, and that's it. And now you have a money clip, which is really nice. So if you're somebody that wants that flexibility, you can easily swap it out for the money clip, and it's just a little bit more usable because of that customizability. All right, so the next category for me comes down to dimensions. As I mentioned earlier, these are actually very, very similarly sized. The only major difference being the depth of them. So because this does have removable plates, the Axwell is actually ever so slightly thicker because it needs to be able to have that ability to swap out those plates easily. I will say Ridge wallets, you can swap them out, but they are these little tiny screws that are a little bit more difficult to do so, but you are able to do it. However, because of the way they're constructed to allow these plates to come off easily, it does make it ever so slightly thicker, making the Ridge wallet ever so slightly smaller, making it edge out the Axwell ever so slightly in this category. All right, so the next category comes down to styling, and this is completely subjective and is completely up to each person on what they think looks better. I personally think that the Ridge wallets look ever so slightly better, and the reason behind that comes to bezels. My background is pretty heavy in electronics. I used to work for cell phone stores selling cell phones, so I've always been trained that bezels need to be smaller. And when it comes to the Axwell, their bezels, as you can see, are right here, this black bezel. It is large just because you need to be able to put the plates on the inside of those bezels, and that's what holds them in place. Whereas the Ridge utilizes screws, you don't have any form of bezels whatsoever. And so for me, aesthetically wise, the Ridge wallet looks ever so slightly better. The next category comes down to customization, which it's obvious which one is going to be better. That is obviously the Axwell. If you're somebody that likes to swap out faceplates, change up the look of your wallet a lot, but you don't want to spend money on buying a completely new wallet, the Axwell is an awesome option. It's really easy to remove these plates. You can remove them in seconds, and you can actually get different colors and different styles. You can get customized versions of these plates and swap them out at your leisure, making this an extremely customizable wallet, much more so than pretty much anything else on the market. Next category is build quality, which they honestly are very, very similar. I would say the Ridge wallet probably ever so slightly edges out the Axwell wallet, but I'll be honest, for the most part, it's probably a tie, with it maybe edging towards the Ridge just a little bit more. They use very similar materials. Their build qualities are very similar. So it's really hard to say on that one which is going to be better. In the next category, I hate to add the fact that this is the way it is, but it is, and that comes down to name recognition and bragging rights. People know what a Ridge is, whereas people don't really know what an Axwell is. So if you're somebody that likes to show off your gear to your friends, the Ridge wallet actually has a much more recognizable name than the Axwell will. So if that sounds like you, the Ridge might be the better option. And then finally is a category that is very near and dear to me, and that comes down to warranty. I really like a good warranty and a good return policy, and the Ridge has a ever so slightly better return policy, being a 90-day return policy instead of a 50. Of course, both companies require it to be in unused condition and in like new quality, which when you're throwing things into your pocket with keys and coins and that kind of stuff, most of these are not going to be in like new condition after the first day. So honestly, those return policies, it's really going to be a case by case, and if you can talk them into taking it back. But honestly, they very similar, with the Ridge being ever so slightly better warranty. So which one would I buy? Well, I've had these for quite a few months now, and I've actually been kind of gravitating a little more towards the Axwell lately. In the past, I've said the Ridge wallet is the better option. However, I do really like the customization of the Axwell, and it looks really nice. I especially like this copper, which is actually a thick plate of copper, and it's not just an aluminum plate that has copper on top of it. It is true copper, which again makes it extremely heavy, but it's also pretty cool. That said, the Ridge wallet is proven and has been one of my favorite wallets, primarily because I've had it the longest. This is actually the wallet that got me into reviewing wallets. And so it is actually a really important one for me, and I really like it too. So it really is a toss-up for me. I might go with an Axwell nowadays just because of the customizability, but I'm a little bit more confident in the Ridge wallet just because I have used it more. So what do you guys think? Which one would you prefer? Which one would you buy? Leave your thoughts and comments down below, and also don't forget to subscribe, because I'd love to be able to show you guys more videos as I have them come out. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I do have paid links down in the comments and the description to each of these products. They do help me out. If you use them, I get a small commission, and I really appreciate it.